Hey, good morning. Welcome to A Foreigner in the Philippines. Well, I got up this morning to find an email for me from a subscriber, a friend, Alan. And Alan is in the UK, as you will obviously guess when I start reading. He said, I just signed a petition, UK Parliament, reverse the dangerous coronavirus bill. Rushed through Parliament last week. There's the operative word, is rushed. Rushed through Parliament last week. I wanted to see if you could help by adding your signature, which I did. But anyway, what I wanted to do was just go into what this bill means. Even though you might not be from the UK, you will understand that very much of the time when something goes through in one country, certainly between the US and the UK, the other will follow. So I'm clicking on the link, which I will give to you. I've written the link down and I'll give it to you before we finish. But anyway, it's coming up now. It's google.com, and it's actually change, but I've written it down as I see it on here, because I don't know how to put it onto the thing. But anyway, there. That's it there, and I guess that those two people are the culprits. But anyway, it says, Terence, 2 things you can do today to help reach victory. Share with your friends to add their support. Chip in to show the petition to others. Okay, well, let me see. I'm going to try to go down. Why can't I go down here? Share the petition. Okay, so share the petition. And now that's taken me somewhere else. Send an email, send a message, send it, copy the link. Well, share on Facebook. I think it's already been done on Facebook. But anyway, I wanted to actually talk about it. Let me see. And it did have something on here. Okay, so I can't find how to do that on my phone, which has a mind of its own. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the link, right? And that's the link there. And I've copied it out for you. And of course, except for that S, the letter S, I think it's all lowercase. Let me see, am I going to read it on here? Yeah, that's a bummer. But anyway, you'll be able to rewind that as much as you need if you want to go ahead and have a look. The thing about this bill apparently is I don't know why they do this, but they always take away so much more than they give. And in this particular one, they apparently can accost you. They can, in some cases, put you away. Okay, so they can put you away. And one that did scare me quite a bit, even though I don't live in the UK anymore, even though I am originally British, which is why I'm taking an interest in this now. But they can put you away. They can put you away into a mental institution. Just imagine that. If you start to protest in the wrong way, this is what happens. It does happen. It does happen to certain people who cross the establishment and speak up in the wrong way. If they're speaking up against a very powerful person, of which there are many in the UK, they can be taken away for their own good. It's always for their own good. And then once they're in there, of course, you can talk all day long when you're in a mental institution about how sane you are, and they will say, oh well, yes, of course, that's what lunatics always do. They always talk about how sane they are, don't they? I mean, the jokes about people in mental asylums is endless, isn't it? So they can do that. They can force you to give samples from your body. In other words, you know, you can be told to go into that room and give a sample about this, about that, and who knows what happens to that. If you are such that you believe that everything is going to be for the good, then sometimes I wish I had a pair of those glasses as well. But unfortunately, the governments the world over show that they're not always going to do what's good. I'll give you a good example. When I was previously married, which is not a subject that I particularly want to talk about, but it was just such a marked example of how things can go wrong. When my then wife had our son, our first boy, Luke, afterwards she suffered for several weeks with what is it? I've forgotten what it's called now. But after the baby, it's post-birth thing, isn't it? Where you suffer the loss of having a child within you and being part of you, and then you go into a depression, and it can be very severe. Well, thinking, well, here we are. We're in a social government. So why can't I get some help? So I went to the local health centre where we've been taking. That was where we took our child for his various checkups, and I said, look, this is what's happened. My wife has postnatal depression, and can I get some help with that? Can we get her into some counselling? I'm sure that they have this all very well. Well, yes, you can, but you'll have to pay. See, so what happened to the National Health, I do not know. Well, anyway, we didn't get any help on that. Now, here's where the story really starts. Sometime later, we're still living in the same place, and we have our second child. And as soon as she went, so my then wife went for her checkup. So the service is now within the service that she is now having a second child. I was out at work, and I arrive home. Fortunately, I arrive home in the afternoon to find two ladies in my house, and they're trying their best to talk my wife into allowing them to take my son, the first boy. I'm thinking, why would you do that? Well, and my wife has already asked her these questions. Why would we do that? Well, because last time you had the postnatal depression, and we thought that this time we can take care of him for you. I mean, who's going to take care of him? And my wife quite rightly says, well, my husband, his father, will take care of him. Enter myself, and that's when I find out what this grand plan is. So let me just run this by you, I think. last time that we needed help and asked for it, you were not interested in helping. But now you want to take my son out the door? I don't think so. But I can show you the door, which is what I did. And they were shown the door civilly, politely, but firmly. And no way. We'll take care of our own family. Thank you very much. Now, here's an example of how things could have gone so very wrong. Because once the child, in this case, has crossed the threshold, he is then in care. Now, as in this dangerous coronavirus bill, which they're trying to put through now, if you were walking along and they, for some reason, they were to stop you, if you, for any reason, invent your own reason why this could happen, but it's happened and there they are and they're bringing the law down on you. Well, wait a minute, it's the law. You cannot refuse to let us test you. Now, I know that all of you people who are so incredibly law-abiding will be saying, I have no reason to doubt that this is so. But what if it isn't as it should be? What if someone has overstepped their authority? As they're doing in the UK, they are admitting in the UK now that the police have been going too far, have already been clamping down on people that are out, in their estimation, shouldn't be out, no matter what they say. In other words, they don't have to accept your explanation, your reason, and they can fine you £60. And I'm guessing that it's an on-the-spot thing. Now that's my reason for why I wouldn't travel at this time, even if I actually wanted to, which I don't. If you travel at this time, you can enter a port of call which is only to connect you to another place. And if someone in there has it in his mind, today is going to be a tough day, you may be one of the tough challengers. Why would I think that? Well, one of our recent visitors, Barry, an American, came from, I think, I don't know how the connections work, but I think he came from Hawaii, right, in America. So he comes from Hawaii, and he arrives, it was either in Cebu or maybe even in Taliban, coming from Hawaii. And he was detained for, I think, 2 hours while they talked to him. Now, if you're going through a really big port of entry, I don't know, supposing you're going through Chicago or you're going through Beijing or some other big port of entry, then you may well be interviewed, shall we say, by people who are extremely educated and well trained. Is that going to be a given wherever you go? Now, supposing there is a situation where someone misreads what they are doing. Now, what they're doing in various places, they've got a little thing that looks like this, and they put it on your forehead, and it gives a temperature and whatever else information it gives. And they read that, and their next action is decided on what they read. Now, at one time, I went along when I was in Florida, and at one of the one of the supermarkets, they were running a free they were running a free blood pressure test. So you could go in there and they would do blood pressure and diabetes, and they do that test not free, but for a very reasonable amount. I don't know, $20 or something like that, and they do that test. Now the woman had trouble taking blood because she couldn't find the vein. Now if you've ever seen my vein, I remember having a test once before, and the woman that took the test, it was in one of those downtown LA places, and she looked at my veins as they're sticking out here, and she said, "Oh my God, I know people who would die for veins like that," meaning of course people who try to find the veins on their own for various reasons. Now this woman finally got the test done, and the results of the diabetes test were so bad for me that the man said, "If I were you, sir, I would get over to the confectionery counter and buy a ton of candy and eat as much as you can, as quickly as you can, to adjust your blood level. Because if you don't, you are likely to go into convulsions." I don't have any problem with my blood pressure. I don't have any problem on these. I'm an extremely healthy, it was even more healthy, even more fit back then. This was about 10 years ago or more. And just supposing that that person was the one that interviews you at the airport when you were en route to somewhere, and now say, "You know, sir, just to be on the safe side, our orders are to put people who are on the cusp like this into quarantine for your own safety." Yes, well, that's what can happen if you travel. Well, back full circle to our little thing now for the UK and you giving your signature. It's very easy. Simply put your email down, click on "Yes, I'm signing," and your signature goes onto the roll that they are going to put into Parliament. And I think that what people will be losing if that bill goes through compared to what they're gaining, no, it's not a fair exchange. You know, if somebody tells you not to walk on the road, you're not allowed to because you might get run down. There's a fair benefit for that, because if you do walk on the road, you probably are going to get knocked down, right? But if they tell you you've got to hop along the pavement on one leg just in case you catch a cold, then that would not be a good thing, would it? So please rewind back to the video here and have a look at that that link. That link is, I think it's pretty accurately done. It's http:///vr.it/v/VF4YHJL. And actually on that site it does have a dot after the L, but I don't think that I think that was more grammar than .com. Alright, so have a look at that, and if you have a moment, why not? Okay, thanks a lot, and thank you to the friend that sent that in for me. I was interested, and I hope this helps. Bye for now.